So for high school, I mean, it was actually pretty good. My freshman year, I went to a new school. I moved cities. I went to a new school, and so I was like kind of like the player on the team, right?
Hmm.
So they would give me the ball. When we play other teams, it was kind of the first time that I had played against people that were as tall or as strong as me, and so
Hmm.
it was like the first time I got my shot blocked and all that, and I was like, wasn't a good feeling. But then I moved over to a new school, Logan. That's where I graduated from, and that
Hmm.
was actually like my best experience because there was other tall people on my team. I wasn't the star. When
Right.
I got there, they were like, "We already have our numbers. You can choose from this one or this one." So it was kind of like that vetting process where I actually had to come in and earn my spot, and that was cool because we had me 6'4" or 6'3" at the time. We had another 6'3", we had a 6'2", we had a 6'1". Right. So it was like
In high
if you
school?
in high school, if you want to
Whew.
play, you need to, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was for me like the best experience because I had to learn how to fight for my position, right? Fight
Right.
for some. Oh my God, Mia.
Yeah, and when you take a pic, I like the way you pose a special way. Can deal with petty shit, I never let drama get in the way. And you can deal with none of your problems, cause you rather run away. It hurts the most when your family tend to be your biggest pain. Everybody getting older, but nobody seems to change.
Welcome back to another episode of Fast Break Focus. This is season three when this one comes out. And today we have a really, really special guest coming onto the podcast with somebody who's played college sports. She's played in the WNBA. She's played overseas. She's won in the WNBA as a coach. She has a ring in 2005. Now she's retired from the game and she, still stays connected to the game a little bit. But without further ado, let's welcome Miss Monique Amberst. How you doing, Monique?
Great. Thank you for having me today.
Doing good, doing good.
Oh, is it frozen?
No, I got you. I got you. Okay. So the first thing I like
Okay.
to get into, the first thing I like to get into is first, how are you and how are things going for you right now?
I'm doing great. I have no complaints. I never try to never complain anyway, because who's going to listen? But I always look at the bright side.
Right,
So,
right. So, well, like the podcast, we like to go through your basketball journey. First thing I want to go through is, where did your love of basketball start? And before you go, I did hear a story that the reason you started taking basketball seriously is because you wanted to compete with the boys in gym class.
that is exactly right. I played every sport, tetherball, kickball, at recess. You're super competitive. I never played basketball because everybody thought I should because I was tall. So my
Hmm.
first team sport was baseball. I played with the boys. And yeah, one time we were at recess and the boys shocked me and said, let's play basketball. And I wasn't going to, be like, uh-oh, I don't know how to play. I was like,
Right.
okay. And then that boy, I'll never forget. He just took off. It seemed like from the free throw line. It may not have been, but it seemed like from the free throw line. He was about to dunk on me. I was like, oh no, I don't
Right.
like this. I literally told my friends that we were talking, that we were playing with. And she said she went home and told her dad about it. And she came back the next day when her dad was like, she's like, my dad was like, he'll coach us if you guys are serious. I
Right.
was like, sign me up. And that was how I started, literally.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't know. It wasn't anything, not, I wouldn't say that it wasn't on my radar. It's just that everybody expected me to play. So I was out there trying to find all different. Actually, the first sport was gymnastics. So yeah, I was out there trying to find different things, trying to be different.
Right. Now, it's you saying that I did hear a story about how you would go through the phone books, like phone book back in the day, and you would see something that you wanted to do, and you would sign yourself up, and then go to your mom later and be like, "Hey, this Saturday I have karate," because then what? You didn't have any siblings growing
It,
up, basically.
I did. I would go through, be like, oh, I want to dance. That seems fun. Let me see. Oh, they got a class on Saturday. Sign myself up and be like, Mom, what are you doing on Saturday? I have a dance lesson at 3 o'clock. Can you take me?
Did she?
Or
She
karate. Can you take me? She would take
did
me.
did she
She
ever
wouldn't like
question
be like,
like
what?
how are you doing this? That she would
I
just be
think
like,
she
all right.
knew. I think she already knew the type of person I was. So she never like said no. She never said like, "Oh my God, that's gonna be too expensive" or whatever. She just was like, "Okay, let's go."
Right. And like,
But I've
so
always
through that experience, do you think it made you a lot more confident to try things because you had supportive parents like that?
for sure, definitely throughout I mean, just my career period, as far as going overseas, not being afraid to go overseas, like, hey, let's try it. And then also pivoting out of basketball into my new career, the same thing. They were just like, okay, that's what you want to do.
Right. So, just going through it. So that was about sixth grade when the love of basketball started. Um, how much time did you actually put into it? And were you actually watching basketball at the time?
No, honestly, I would probably turn on the game around the fourth quarter. Or like, I wouldn't say turn it on, like really like sit down. Like you have it on, and then the fourth quarter is when I would like focus. So I wasn't really watching a lot. I probably should have been, but that's when I started to be like, okay, I really want to play this sport. So I want to be better. What other things do I need to do besides obviously practicing?
Right. And so how was the high school and middle school basketball for you? And what was the recruitment process like?
So for high school, I mean, it was actually pretty good. My freshman year, I went to a new school. I moved cities. I went to a new school, and so I was like kind of like the player on the team, right?
Hmm.
So they would give me the ball. When we play other teams, it was kind of the first time that I had played against people that were as tall or as strong as me, and so
Hmm.
it was like the first time I got my shot blocked and all that, and I was like, wasn't a good feeling. But then I moved over to a new school, Logan. That's where I graduated from, and that
Hmm.
was actually like my best experience because there was other tall people on my team. I wasn't the star. When
Right.
I got there, they were like, "We already have our numbers. You can choose from this one or this one." So it was kind of like that vetting process where I actually had to come in and earn my spot, and that was cool because I mean, we had me 6'4" or 6'3" at the time. We had another 6'3", we had a 6'2", we had a 6'1", right? So it was like
In high
if you
school?
in high school, if you want to
Whew.
play, you need to, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was for me like the best experience because I had to learn how to fight for my position, right? Fight
Right.
for some. So
So
yeah.
I heard, you were always taller than everybody. So what was it like finally going to a new school and girls actually looking you in your eyes? What was that experience
I mean,
like?
I was, like I said, just being on the team, and they were like, girl, like we already got our numbers. You can choose this or this. For most people, it probably would have been like, but I was like, oh, like, like great. Like I have not only people to look up to, but also people to compete with. So it wasn't for me intimidating at all. I enjoyed the experience. I think it helped mold who I was.
Yeah, and I gotta say that's a testament to your mom as well. Not being scared of anything because she allowed you to, hey, I just signed up maybe Tuesday, Saturday I'm going. And she
Going.
would, that kind of built, I think that kind of built your confidence to like, I'm not gonna be scared of people or scared of things because you were always around new people. If you're signing yourself
Right.
up and stuff, you're always
Yeah.
around new folks and stuff like
I
that. So
was
that's it.
ready to learn, ready to win,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. And I to credit that a lot to your parents. That's a good one right there. So
Yeah.
what was your recruitment process like and why Arizona State?
Ooh, recruitment was crazy, super crazy. Because I was the well, first person in my family to be recruited in that process, right? So I didn't
Hmm.
have anybody to go to. I didn't know what questions to ask. I didn't know how to set parameters. Like I had my own phone line at that time in my room, and I would go away for the weekend and I'd come home and I had 30 plus voice messages. So it
Oof.
was like, whoa, like what do we do? So my high school coach played a big part in it. He did a little research and helped me with some questions and all of that. So I knew what to ask. And basically, you have all of these schools, and you're a little flattered, right? Some schools
Hmm.
I've never even thought of, but wow, you like me, you think I can play on your team, but you can only go visit five. So out of all of these schools, how do I get it down to five? So
Right.
that was what was important me is being able to ask the right questions, being able to look for the right things. Um, Arizona State came about because they were the ones that didn't try to go out and like, I don't want to say they didn't try to impress me because they did, but it wasn't like, oh, if you come here, your name is in lights, you're going to get this number, all of that. They were the only school that didn't do that. It was more like, when you come here, you're going to have to earn your spot, right? Yes, we like you and we know you can play here, but you still got to earn your spot. And there you go.
That's that speaks a lot to you because you don't find the easy way. You're just like what is the road that people walk down the least, and I'm gonna clear a path for it.
And it's
So
funny you say that because I was just having this speech with my team last week. And I said, here's the easy road. Here is the okay path. Here is the hardest road. For some strange reason, I always end up on the hardest road. Even in my business today, it's the same
yeah,
thing. I don't know
yeah.
why, but it just happened.
Hey, you know how it goes. You gotta build your own lane. That's what I always say. Got it.
Yeah.
So your time at Arizona State, what do you most remember about that time in your playing days?
Let's see. That's a great question. I guess probably the most important is relationships.
Mm,
I played in high school on an all-star team with one of my best friends. Well, she wasn't my best friend at the time. I met her then, but we both ended up going to Arizona State. So today she is my sister.
mm,
Like, cannot tell me that we don't have to say mom and dad. Like, she comes to all my family functions. Her daughter is my
mm,
godchild. So relationships, I still my high school coach and my college coach instilled a lot in me. At the time, maybe I didn't realize what they were doing, but now that I
mm,
own my own business, I'm like, whoa, that's what they were doing. Like, just the discipline alone. My college coach was like, if we have a meeting at 10, at 9:59 and in 60 seconds, that door is being locked. And so to this day, I am not late. And
mm.
people who are late, I'm like, I don't have time for that.
I know
So
that's
that
right. I
was
know
a lot
that's
of life
right.
lessons, I should say, that I learned. Basketball was great, don't get me wrong. I think it taught me. I came in as a freshman. We had some upperclassmen that kind of would beat us up every day in practice. So, and then one time, one of the girls was like, if you keep going, I could see you on the Olympic team. And I was like, wow, like, you really think that much of me. So it just kept, like, there was always challenges, but at the same time, people weren't afraid to tell me that they saw me getting better, and
Right.
you even more challenges out there that you can conquer. So
That speaks to it because you left Arizona State. I don't know if it's still the record, but you left Arizona State number three all time in rebounds, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, you know what? I was pretty good up there, but I don't know now because everybody, I mean, these girls keep getting better and better.
Bet
Like, they just keep breaking
every
records.
day. Yeah.
Not mad at it though. Not mad at all.
I know that's right.
Yeah, I Kim Hampton was the all-star at my school,
Hmm.
at Arizona State. So she actually would come back and visit. So it was like I could feel like this person, like I could be like her, and she
Right.
would come there and give us words of wisdom and stuff too. So that definitely helped.
Right. So just the Arizona State, it's a good time. You're getting, like you said, beat up by the upperclassmen. You're learning business and you're learning just how to be your own
Right.
individual and stuff like that. So afterwards, now the WNBA isn't an opportunity right now because the league hasn't started yet. So you went and
Right.
coached actually. And what was your
Mhm.
decision to actually coach instead of play, like potentially overseas or anything?
So I knew I didn't want to go overseas. I had played in, was it the Jones Cup? We had went to Taiwan, and I was like, "Ooh, this over here, the food. There's no English on TV. They don't." I was like, "Oh no, no, this is not for me." So to this day, I always tell people to speak, to share with people what your dreams are, right? What you want to do. So we played in a tournament in Richmond, Virginia, and when we were there during the holidays, it was just so beautiful and nice. I was like, well, I could kind of see myself living out here. I'd like to
Hmm.
live out here one day. And I told my coach that. Um, Fast forward our senior year, and one of the assistants that used to work for her at George Washington was looking for, actually, he was interviewing someone for a grad assistant. The person put her as the reference. he called her to ask her about that person. And she was like, I got the perfect person for you.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, by sharing that story with her, like, yeah, I really love the area. I could see myself out here one day. Wasn't about the job. It was just more so about the area and the experience. So that's how coaching became a thought, right? I went
Mhm.
out there. I didn't know, basically, I probably really already had the job. They just wanted to meet me because there was never any talk about the job. We would just introduce me to his family and the players. And yeah, so that's how that came about. It was just like the next step. It was already written for me.
Yeah. And this background is misleading. I'm actually live about an hour 45 minutes from Richmond. So
Okay.
you saying Richmond is beautiful, I understand what you're talking about. Richmond is very beautiful, the whole DMV
I love it.
area.
The candles in the windows during the holidays. Do they still do that?
Yes. Yes, they still do that. Yes.
Love that.
Yeah, it's
Love
beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. So, you were there for 3 solid years. You improved the team's records and everything. So, what do you remember most about not just the DMV area, but your time coaching? And how did that set up
my
your
time
your
coach.
basketball?
Well, it set up a lot for me because now I'm looking at it from the other standpoint, right? Like
Hmm.
the first thing is, as an athlete, we go to practice and you leave practice and then that's it. You go home, you take a nap, you do your homework, you're done. As a coach, I get there at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. I do my work. I take a break for practice and then we practice. And then practice is over. I go back to work.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this is a lot. Like that. I mean, yeah, real world hit me.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I think my boss put a lot on my plate. Like he was like, oh, you can do this. You can do this. So I pretty much did a bulk of the outside of basketball work so that the other assistants could just recruit. So
Hmm.
I did back in the day film exchange. I was in charge of, getting films to them. We didn't have a football team, so I didn't have like a setup where I could do 10 films at a time. It was one at a time.
Mm.
So let me go check. So that we had a kids colonial club where we send out just information throughout the season and then also wish them happy birthday. We had a camp. Obviously, we did travel. I did all of travel. I was in charge of all the money. I was in charge of a lot individual workouts,
Yeah, you was the
preseason
director of basketball
conditioning. I
operations
was the
before they had director of basketball operations.
yeah. I was the strength and conditioning coach. Yeah,
Yeah, and
a
that and
lot. But
you,
for me,
you didn't
it
take the
wasn't
easy
like,
road.
oh my God. Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it on my resume. I'm just gonna put it on my resume.
I know that's right. After that time, the WNBA ends up calling. You get drafted in the fourth round to the Phoenix Mercury. What was do you remember getting that call that hey I got drafted or you just got drafted or was it?
All together. We were all in the office. So I didn't know, I didn't think I wasn't playing. I would play in hoop it up tournaments, 3-on-3s. I just
Hmm.
still played, not like to be able to be ready for the WNBA or to go overseas. So I just played because I loved it. I had to step into practice sometimes. So
Hmm.
when they came, I wasn't in real shape, but I could get up and down the court. I guess it helped during the training camp. I mean, during the draft camp, there was only 9 players, maybe 8 players on my team. So I played a lot. So the
Yeah,
coaches saw me a lot.
yeah,
So draft day, I wasn't really expecting, but it was like we also had a player that I coached, Tajma Abraham, that was supposed to be drafted. So we were really focused more so about her
right.
than me. So we were all together. And then when they called, we both got drafted in the fourth round, but I got called first. So yeah. So when they called, it was like, and it was Cheryl too. So it was like, hey, Monique, this is Cheryl from Phoenix Mercury. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. Let's go.
Right.
So that was
So,
exciting. It was an exciting day.
so you went through a draft process basically,
Mhm.
even years after you're done playing.
Yeah. Yeah. I was not in like the basketball shape that I would normally be in.
Hmm.
Like I said, I just played a little bit, but yeah, we got invited to a draft camp and it was at in Florida at Disney World. in
Hmm.
Florida. Yeah, it was a bunch of us, and we basically just played for I don't know how many days. I know I was sore afterwards, but it was worth it. For me, it was like I'm not going to not take this opportunity, even though I'm not in the best basketball shape that I would normally be in. I'm
Right.
just gonna go, and whatever happens, happens.
Imagine if you had stayed in shape because you out of shape,
Because
you end up
it's
falling
an
into the
opportunity.
fourth round. In shape, you might have made it to the second, maybe first round. Is it frozen?
I've drafted in the fourth round to Phoenix because I never thought I would be able to play back into our arena. Like my senior night was my senior night, I thought, right? So that was
Right.
cool too.
Right. So, after that experience, you end up playing in the WNBA for about 19 games. What do you remember about that experience? And then right after that, you end up going overseas. So you just start with basically the WNBA. How was that experience? It was early too, early WNBA.
WNBA, right, right, the first year. So it was exciting to be around to play with players you never thought you would play with, right? Like Nancy Lieberman was on my team. So to play with all these different generations, Cheryl Miller was my coach. That part was super, like just dope. Like, wow, like I'm playing with Nancy. We're two totally different generations, but to be able to learn from her in practice was so good. It was frustrating for me. It was probably the most humbling for me because I had never sat the bench like that before. So it was kind of like, what am I doing? What am I not doing? What can I do? Like, I want to play, which led me to go overseas. I literally quit my job at George Washington, and they totally were fine with it, so that I can go overseas, get in better basketball shape, play, get my touch back, so that I can come back and play. So,
Right.
but
And
yeah, that was definitely a humbling experience for me.
so, what do you remember about Cheryl Miller? Because there's a lot of stories about the Cheryl Miller. She's a lot more in the media nowadays. But what do you remember most
I'm
about
gonna tell
Cheryl?
you the best story. The best story, and this is what I tell everybody. Cheryl Miller's, Coach Miller's pre-game speech will have you ready to go run through a wall, a brick wall. Like she gets you so hyped. Like, I mean, so hyped. Like you're like, let's go. Like,
Right.
I'm just ready to go. Come on. Like, we don't even want to warm up. Let's just tip it as soon as we get out there. Like, that's
Right.
the best. Like
So
really good
the
energy. And she can, I'm telling you, have you think you could beat an NBA team.
so after that experience with Cheryl, that's pretty cool that that she was so intense. You end up going to, I think it was Greece first, Greece, then Italy, then you spent some time with Germany.
Greece,
Yep. And then so what about that experience was it
yeah,
like?
Greece, Italy. I think it just first of all learned how to be away from home. And some of those teams, I was the only American, so just
Mm,
spending a lot of time with myself, but also being able to adjust to different teams, different players, different countries, different food. Like for me, that's a probably like I said, made me who I am. Right?
yeah.
Like no, uh, nothing is too difficult. You can get through
Right.
it.
Right. And so where was your favorite place to play? As far as food and not just basketball, just the culture. What was your favorite culture to be in?
Probably Spain. But I always tell people Spain because literally, like, if you go, like, if this was my balcony and I look to the right, that was the ocean.
Oh
So
wow.
it was just calming. Yeah. So on our days off, we'd have Sundays off. I would either go for like a nice little jog or a long walk along the ocean. So that was nice. Like
Yeah,
just
that's
very
nice.
peaceful. Just kind of center yourself after a busy.
Yeah, that's nice. That's
And
nice.
the
That's
people
very
were
nice.
nice too. Like, like I'd go to the post office. They see me all the time. So when we'd have tourists, they would try to have me translate. And I'm like, I don't even know enough Spanish. I know Spanish. I don't even know enough to try to translate. But I appreciate you thinking so highly of me.
Right.
But yeah, people were nice.
So so after that experience, you end up getting a call back to the WNBA, the Monarchs, Sacramento Monarchs. Um, what was that experience like? Do you remember that call?
Yeah. So my college coach, again, was the assistant coach for the Monarchs. And they were looking for a certain type of player, and she knew that I could fill that role. So she was like, come on, we ready for you. So that was cool to come back to the WNBA and to come back to Sacramento because my ties are from Sacramento, right?
Right.
That's where I went to elementary school and junior
Hmm.
high. So that was like exciting to be able to come back home, right, and play. Again, a humbling experience because it didn't last long, the playing wise, but because I came here and I did what I was supposed to do, the coaching staff saw something in me, and that's when they invited me back to be a coach.
I about to say, because you graduated what, 10, about 10 years after they called you, huh? Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you remember about that coaching? You know, you win a championship with the Monarchs as a coach in 2005. What do you remember about that experience and winning that championship? The so back to continue. Um you end up winning the championship as a coach. You just spoke about being a coach in the 2005 season. To come back to the coach, what do you remember about that championship season and winning a championship in your hometown?
Do it, but I didn't know what I knew. Like in training camp, I saw something different. I just didn't know what that was. I just felt different about what
Hmm.
they were developing. And it's funny, yeah, it's easy for me to say that after, but no, really, I did say that like it was different. It was a lot of our older players, our more experienced players were overseas. So our rookies and our younger players that weren't playing overseas started training camp and we had a new coach. So, well, he we were they were learning a lot of new things. So
Hmm.
they knew all the stuff for the the tenured players did, right? So when they're coming back, the tenured players had to adjust to what they had already learned. So I felt like it put a little, it was a little bit different than the senior players coming in. Like, I've been playing in WNBA 6, 7 years and I know what I'm doing. They didn't because we had kind of changed a lot of stuff.
Right.
And the rookies knew more than they did. I don't know. It's just that stuck out to me where now the older players had to come in and kind of fit themselves into what the rookies were already learning. And it just made for a different type of bond. But I could see that, like I could see that happening. So it just turned into a good team dynamic. It wasn't like pockets here, pockets here, pockets here. When they, after practice on the road, it was this. Everybody hung out. And that to me just stood out. And so at the end of the day, I think that's how it translated. It translated, especially because we didn't have like a Diana Taurasi, right? Yes, we had
Hmm.
Yolanda, who was a tough player. She can give you 20, but she wasn't someone the league was hyping up like that. So we
Hmm.
had more of a team dynamic. So yeah, I just saw it happening. I just didn't know what was happening until
Right.
after we won it.
Right. And so what was the support around the city winning a championship like that?
Crazy, so crazy. We had a parade that was
Hmm.
great. Yeah, I mean, people. Oh, the funny story is, I had heard a rumor that we were on the Wheaties box, but I just thought it was a rumor because I just heard it in the streets. My local Rayleigh's, where I still shop today, when I went in there, because I shopped all the time, they were like, "Hey, glad you came in today. We have a box of Wheaties for you, and then make sure you tell all the players to come in too. We saved a box for them." So that gives you an idea of what the environment here is in Sacramento.
Yeah, and I'm so glad. I'm absolutely so glad that Sacramento is getting the team back, the Monarchs back, because that they definitely need it. Sacramento, it seems like a very, very good hoop town.
It is. We just need good ownership first, as far as with the Kings. I think once they get settled, then bringing back a women's team will be good. But they really need to get that settled first.
Yeah, yeah, we ain't gonna get it. That's a whole different podcast.
Yes.
So you end up coaching for a few more years. You end up retiring in 2012, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
What went into your decision to retire and start this new career?
Um, so it kind of really kind of made it for myself. I was tired of hopping around. I tore my Achilles, first of all. That
Mm,
was major. So I was kind of restricted. And I was tired of in sports, you have to go where the job is. You
mm,
can't be like, I'm gonna live here and then and my nephew at the time was 2. Yeah, 2012. He was 2. And I spent a lot of time with him when he was born. So I was literally watching him grow up on FaceTime.
mm.
Boom. I was like, yeah, that,
That ain't it. That ain't it.
no, no, it's not. So I came home, met up with an old friend, and he started telling me about the opportunity that I'm doing now. And I looked at him like he was crazy. And he was like, wait, hear me out. People don't grow up saying they're going to sell insurance, but just hear me out. And then I listened to him and it kind of made sense. And I knew I could plant my feet here. So I was like, I'll give it a try.
Right.
So
And
that's how we
can you
started.
speak on what the things you do today, like in selling insurance?
I tell people I'm still a coach. I
Mm,
coach people on basically just protecting your assets, right? People think they get insurance because the bank, when you buy your house, tells you need it, or when you buy your car. But that is not what it's for. It's basically, especially we're in the sue me state, right? And I
mm,
hear it all the time. People are like, I'm going to get a lawyer. We're making sure that those assets that you're building, where that's what insurance is, that the assets that you're building protect you from those lawsuits and that you're not like I got this paycheck over here, but it's going over to these people because I was in an accident and they got injured. And now I have to pay them for the next 10 years out of my income. Or, they know I'm a homeowner. So they're going to take some equity out of that to pay this lawsuit.
mm.
That's what insurance is. And I think if people understand it from that standpoint, I think it makes a little bit more sense. Right.
Right.
And then we also do life insurance, which is my passion because our community, we don't talk about that. We just do these fundraisers and these car washes. And I tell people, I think we have to switch the mindset on what life insurance is. It's not leaving money so that they can be rich and live this lifestyle while you're gone. It's really to make sure that they're not robbing Peter to pay Paul to take care of business if you're not here, if they lose your income, right? But then there's
Right.
also policies that have what we call living benefits that you can use while you're here, which is what I strongly believe in. I've seen it help people. I've had a customer whose daughter was getting ready to graduate from Sac State and they owed like, I don't know, it was like $3,000 and they didn't know where they were going to get it. He had bought this life policy for her when she was little. And I was like, yeah, there's money in there if you want it. He called, I sent him the check, good to go.
I know
So
that's right.
there's so many things that life insurance does. It's not, to me, it's like the emergency is if something happens to you, there's money. But there's other things that it does. And we don't spend enough time talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we can go a long while talking about insurance because there's a lot to uncover and there's a lot to like I'm just not getting into it myself because I have a daughter now, so there's something that I need to start taking seriously. So I just now started understanding it and I still don't understand it the way I should, but now I'm starting to get a better grasp of what it is. So just to cap off things and just because it's been a fantastic interview. Um, How much do you still keep up with the game? I know you do run an app called Presser, or is it a website called Presser? And can you speak more about that?
And so my yeah, that I am so into because now I feel like I'm a successful business owner. I try to pay it forward. So when people come to me with advertising opportunities, I like learn a little bit about it and try to help where I can. I don't really do it for advertising purposes. I do it to help. So my nephew plays at McClatchy High School. So of course I'm gonna, you know, give them as much help as I can. So in that Presser app, it's just they're interviewing those kids, and it's sponsored by Monique Amber's insurance agency. Though, so that's what it is. They're just trying to give me like get my name out there, but really, I just want to get those kids out there so that
Right.
people can see play and they can get opportunities.
Yeah, so everybody helping everybody. That's all it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This has been a
So that's
fantastic, fantastic interview, Monique. Thank you so much for joining. Is there anything you want to shout out before we get to my last question?
No, I just, like maybe the biggest thing would be women's basketball, how much it's evolved and how much it's still growing. So hopefully we can continue to build a solid, just amount of people that really watch it and enjoy it. I think
Mhm.
if you watch it just one time, you'll be locked in.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game. It's so much more technical than the men's side. A lot of men just want to see the high flying and they want to just see the dunks and all this stuff. But I always tell people if you're a real basketball fan, you will
Oh,
understand and appreciate women's basketball because they do it the right way. You guys do it the right way.
I agree.
Thank you so much. And my final question, as I don't know if you've ever seen an episode of the podcast, but my final question always is, I need a I need a such and such quote, so I need a Monique Ambers quote.
Ooh, you know what? Any other time I would have had one for you. Ah, but my brain is fried. I just lost a team member, and so my focus has been on. I've been reading interviews all weekend,
Hmm.
so my brain is super fried. So, I any other time I could give you one right off the top. Trying to think of what my team always. I guess the easy one would be plan your work and work your plan.
That's a good one. I'm gonna use that one. I like that one. I like that one. Thank you so much, Monique. This has been another fantastic episode of Fast Break Focus. Thank you so much for joining, and we look forward to the next time.
Alrighty. Take care and
Thank you.
happy Sunday.
Thank you. You too.